Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yelena. I'm going to lead this webinar, and our subject for this webinar will be how to build advanced query in QuickBooks and put it in the spreadsheets. And then I will cover a little bit upload processes because I receive a lot of questions about that. And I will go through some of our new features of a new release, which was released a couple of weeks ago. So this webinar is recorded. So basically, I'm going to send everyone recorded version, especially for people who didn't have time to come this time. So from organizational perspective, I have in webinars Q&A section. So please feel free to ask any questions, or you know how to reach us at support@Econ Services. So you can ask us any questions. All right, so I'm ready to start. So you should be able to see my screen now. And what I'm going to have now, let's do how to build the query, advanced query, data query in Google Spreadsheet. So when you log in to our application, you should be able to have G-Accon for QuickBooks. And now I already log in into application. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull some examples, and I'm going to join 3 different tables. Definitely it's apply for 1, 2, 3 multiple tables. So, but you will grab now the concept. All right, I will go and select get accounting data. And let's assume my first object will be, let's say, invoices. So it's a popular object, and I will get data from, let's say, August 1st, and from August 2020 till end of November. And what I'm going to do here, so I need to pick up invoice ID. It's my internal invoice ID number for which used in database, invoice number. And let's say I want to join, my first table will be, let's say, customer. So basically I want to join invoices, and then I want to get my customer information, and my target is I want to eventually see account number. So this is what our target. So now I'm going to have customer ID, customer name, and I'm going to select account, just because this is my invoiced object has those IDs. So what I'm looking here, I'm looking to have in my query IDs. So definitely when you build your bigger query, invoice will have everything else, whatever you need for your purpose. It can have the due, it can have line items over here, but for our specific purpose right now, I don't want to include it, but definitely in your case you will be having this. So I have ID, I have my account ID, and I have customer ID. So basically it will be my main table. Based on this, I will be building my join table. So as soon as I have open my new tab, I'm going to go to change pool settings and unselect this first checkbox, and I'm going to use A1 as the first cell, and then I'm ready to execute my query. So this is my first query. Let's see what it does. I don't have much data, it's my demo account. So what I want to show you here, I have my invoice ID here, which I don't need for joining my tables. And now I'm going to show you this column, which called customer ID, which is over here, customer ID. It's no name, no customer address, no email, just ID. So we're going to use this ID and join the second table. So how I'm going to do it? I want to use this second table, and I want to put it in the same tab. And my third table will be going to the same tab as well. So I go to add-on, Then choose G-Accon for QuickBooks. Again, I get accounting data, and I will select new table. So my new table will be customer in my case, in my specific case. So I choose my customer, and now I say, okay, now I want to have everything related to my customer. It's not many fields here. It has some payments method. It can some address, email, mobile phone, job. So everything, whatever I need. So I want to select everything, and I want to join it by ID. So what I have to do, I have to select field to filter by and choose this category. So this is filter by ID. So now my next step to select, I highlight all my IDs, which is on column D. Then I put reference to this column, and then I insert this date range. So this one from D3 to D10, this is my IDs of these customers. So I inserted, don't forget to insert it, and my query is ready. So now I don't want to mess up and start it from A1 field cell. So I want to select it. Let's say I'm going to start in L2. So this is my customer table, will be sitting in this area. So I do again through references, or you can type it, doesn't really matter. You can put template name if you choose to do it. In my case, I execute it. So now the question here, you can use your second table and join by second table ID. You can join another table, right? And has this joining. Or in my case, I don't have much data here. I want to use payment information, but I don't have much. So I'm going to use my account ID and join my third table based on my first query. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull little bit my ID so you can see it. I will push on the first place. So this is my ID over here. And then I will go to a zone, I will open my application, and I pull my third table. So my third table will be account. So I want to see what is account by account ID. And I select everything. I want to see my number. I want to see account type, some description, name, everything, whatever it's available. And then I will do the same set of actions. I uncheck create new spreadsheet, and I will start at this A, let's say 13. I can type it in this case. And then again, I go to select the field to filter. This is my pretty much where close, right? If you look from query perspective, this is your select statement, and this is your where close. So, and you identify your filters ID by, again, I selecting these filters. And then you can type it. You can do whatever is needed, but it has to be ID. So if you're talking about payments object, it will be payment ID. If it's a transaction object, it will be transaction ID. If it's invoices or bills or estimates, it will be IDs for this object. So it's very easy again. So I put reference to this column, I insert it to this field. So make sure you really insert it. I double check, I start my new table, this my new cell A13, and then I'm ready to execute. So it will take some time. It's go through each and every ID and try to pull information. But as a result, what you're going to have these three tables which is joined to each other by ID. And this will be ready for you to use based on your business needs, right? Because not every object that we provide has kind of embedded object within. So, but that functionality give you this give you opportunity to join as many fields and queries as you need for your purpose. So, and again, later on, you can create your automation process. I'm going to show you how to do it in a minute. And then you will be able automatically refresh data based on your specific schedule. So let's wait for a second when it's finished running. And you will see these 3 tables in the one tab. So while doing this job, my next step will be to show you how to create workflow. I know some of you start using workflow concept itself, but not everyone. This new workflow concept allow you to create schedule in more efficient manner and see what is your scheduling, what schedule you have available to you. Okay, so what we have now, so this is your invoice table. This is your account table, so you can see account number, you have currency, you have account type, and this is account ID. I select everything, but you can see account ID is matched to the account ID, which is referring to an invoice table. And this is your customer. So you can see customer definitely it's easy for me. I dump everything, all data, but based on your business rules, you choose attributes, whatever you really need it. So, and what I'm going to do, as usual, when you go to G-Accon for QuickBooks, you can click Update, Modify, Delete Template and put changes in your pool section, but make sure you don't touch IDs, right? But in this case, you have to revisit how you build where clauses, field by ID, and change the location if needed. So, but if not, you can refresh the current sheet and download fresh data for organization, or what I'm going to show you, how to set up workflow. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to automation and create workflow. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull these 3 templates, because internally we did create templates. And I will put it workflow, let's say number 11. I don't know why, let it be 11. And then I'll go to add template section. And as you know, you can drag and drop. I have invoices. No, I don't want this invoice. I want invoices in this tab. I want customer, and I want to have account. So this is my 3 templates which belong to this specific tab. What I'm going to do, I really suggest everyone to use notification in case of error. So this is perfect situation when you can notify yourself if you do have error or something happened and you have to act on this. So you can do manual refresh or you can wait for another cycle. So I will set up the same notification method for all my 3 templates. So I do that. And then I move to schedule. So I know this is my join table, and I prefer to have this automation at the same time. So basically, in different cases, if you have here, let's say template account receivable, you can schedule it at one time, you refresh. If you do have, let's say, P&L or income statement, you want to spread it in your time and set up different time. But as soon as we have joint tables, so I prefer to have all my 3 templates refresh at the same time, let's say daily. So it's my invoices, accounts, customers. So I believe nothing changed I don't need to do more frequent refresh, like every 5 hours. So I put it daily. So I set up at around 6 a.m. and my log will be generated automatically, and I apply and execute. In case if you remember our application, in case if you need to notify your customer management, you can set up email your customers or clients emails over here and send them whole converted spreadsheet as a link, as a Microsoft Excel, as a PDF file, so whatever you choose to, and they will automatically receive it. So daily. because you run it daily. So I apply and execute. And what I really kind of suggest to do as soon as I'm not going to wait till 6 a.m. next day. So what I'm going to do, I want to try execute now my workflow. So I will go to automation, update, modify, delete workflows. So let's assume for my spreadsheet, I create like 10 different workflows, and all of them will be visible for you here. So it's very convenient. And I can double click on my workflow, and then I will see button on the left side which allow you to execute this workflow now. So I'm going to execute it and show the log file, which log tab, automatic operation events log, which created for you in the different tab. So this is your monitoring tools, and I think all of you familiar with that tools. I just emphasize this is nice feature. Hold this workflow, which will be easy to use, easy to monitor, and add efficiency to your processes, to your business processes. So as soon as this workflow executes, it will close this window, and then we can see what this log tell you. Meantime, I will close this window. We know it's our account table, which takes some time to execute, but eventually it will be refreshed. Data will be refreshed, and this window will be closed. So while we're waiting, please feel free to ask me any questions. So send me your questions in Q&A. So even now I close this, let's say I close this windows, this still process already start running. So it will be finishing running. Sometimes if you do some manual refresh and you feel, okay, I have to close this and it will run fast or it will stop running. So it's not happening. So basically the moment you trigger processes internally working. So unless until they finish, so you cannot stop them. All right, perfect. So now what we can see here, this is your start execution of your workflow, which we just created. The first step is pull first template, invoice template get pulled and successfully executed. You will see the success. In case of error, you probably know it will show error, because it's happened from time to time. Then the second template has been pulled and again executed successfully, and our account has been pulled. So if I go to my spreadsheet, so if I would have new data, right, especially when you're doing daily refresh, you will see all new data here. And now in my example, I place my account on the bottom of invoice, but definitely, invoice, it's not your it's not a fixed amount of row in your invoice table. So basically, instead of placing my third template in A13, if I would be more smarter, I will pull the template somewhere here in the end of my customer, because invoice data will keep growing, right? But if not, so it's up to you. So, but make sure the data will not be overwritten. So this is whole concept of joining tables. So it's very easy to use, and I think it's not required a lot of knowledge of SQL. So kind of application does everything for you. It's very useful if you really need it. So the next topic, what I'm going to cover, I receive a lot of questions about uploads, right? And what I'm going to do, I want to give you one example and create different templates on how to insert, update, and delete records. So that will not take much time, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes max, and then we will have time for new features and question and answers. So, all right, so I'm going to get accounting data, and again, I will choose my favorite object, invoices. So I'll go select invoices and let me get November invoice, which is good. I don't want to select everything now. I will get my customer name. I will have my customer reference. This is my mandatory fields for insertion. So I will go and get date due, definitely. I will get, let's say email, I'm fine. I will choose invoice ID, invoice number. This is all my line items in my invoice. I want to select them. Then I'm going to get a location, maybe. I will get payment method, yeah, let it be there. And I will have total amount, okay? So this is uh, my invoice, all my fields, and why I'm doing this, because you can type it by yourself, but to get the structure, to create template for upload process, it's easy for me just use structure, whatever it is. But why we doing this? We need to get headers. So this is whole idea. You can do it manually, no problem. You can do it by yourself, whatever you feel like, it's no problem. But for me to show you, this is easiest way to do it. So basically, I pick up all these attributes. I will open new tab for this, and I don't need any filters. I want just to get structure. So I execute it. So this is my execution. I don't have much data, so I have couple records. All right. So what I'm going to do, I want to show you how to move columns around, because I want to see in the first column my invoice ID and invoice number. So I want to move them from F and G column to the front, because I want to work them. I don't want to go through all my attributes and search for them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click this icon, change column order. It's useful. It's useful if you want to have certain columns in the certain places. So I move invoice ID to the first place, and I move invoice number to the second place, and I update and execute my template. Again, here, when I update and execute template, I save my structure, my template, and at the same time, I pull data from QuickBooks. So, all right, so this is my ready structure. This is my header. This is what I'm going to do for mapping. So now I will prepare data for myself. So I blindly copy. Definitely, when you create data, you will do data, new data by yourself, right? Whatever it's needed. I remove ID, right? And I will update my invoice number. So I'll update invoice number. So I'm preparing data just for myself, due date. So let me put due date 12, I don't know, 10, 2020. So this is, I'm creating one invoice which has 3 different line items. And line items will be, this is description of my line items. And invoice service, I can change this date. I don't know, 2020. I will copy these dates. So I will have nice invoice, which is due in December. And this is my line items description. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to Add Zone and create template. So what I'm going to start this, I'm going to start this insertion. So insert template, I will insert new invoice and 3 line items to the QuickBooks, to one first organization, right? We assume I'm working in one organization. So I click on upload accounting data to my company account. I know you have now, you know that you have opportunity to later on to upload either all rows, or you can create templates and upload only new rows. Program is smart enough to understand and not pick up the old rows which already inserted. So in my current case, I'm going to choose currently selected rows, because I don't want to mess up everything. I want to try it. And while I'm trying, I want to choose one invoice and couple line items, or maybe even one line. So later on, you can change it. You can also later on, you can specify your data by date range. It's very similar how we did field by ID. So you choose your date range through your highlighting options, and you put reference to this field. Or you can specify row numbers, right? You can say, I want to upload row number 1, 3, or 5. So whatever. I will come back to currently selected rows, and I will select these 4 rows because I just prepared data. And now program is good enough, smart enough to choose invoices, right? But if it's not picking up invoices, you can select it. You can select whatever objects you're selecting, you're talking about. So in my case, it's invoices. And from operations perspective, we're going to do now insert, update, and delete. So insert is good for me. And now be careful here, because if you load data like I did, I have some header here, some title, some date range. And my header structure start this row number 2. So make sure your first table header cell is A2. But in some cases, it can be A1. In some cases, if you type by yourself, you can start any place in your spreadsheet. But make sure you specify the right cell over here. And you put click refresh button. And what it does is create for you the result column settings on your right side. And at the same time, it does mapping for you. It does mapping for you automatically, but at the same time, you have ability to drag any field from QuickBooks and drop it. This is, you can do mapping manually. So whatever it's easy for you. But as soon as I'm very lazy person, so I want program work for me and do all this stuff, whatever it's needed. And it does. Look at this. Invoice ID is insertion. Invoice ID, it's internal identification number. It's like Social Security, right? So invoice ID will be created by QuickBooks. So basically in the mapping, it stay blank because you don't have to do anything. But if you're talking about update or delete operations, in this case, you have to provide ID number. If you're talking about invoices, it's invoice ID. If you're talking about payments, it's payment ID. Estimates, it's estimate ID. Quote, it's quote ID. It's if you're talking about transaction or account, it's account ID, transaction ID. So this is internal number which is needed to identify your record and update or delete later on. So I'm going to show you. So for each and every operations, you have to create separate templates. So you cannot use the same template. So now we come back to our insertion. So I highlight my 4 records, and it looks like my mapping looks good. So I put new invoice number over here. Invoice ID is empty. On all my due days, line items, everything looks nicely mapped. So let's see, I can try and execute. So my execute button is over here. I execute and save template. Again, you save insert template, and then you execute, you try to insert data. So I will go to the right side, and in my right side, this is whole key. So this is ID, success, create, error, and timestamp. And you can see I just inserted. For me, it's at 12:28. So my insertion happened. And why do I know it's happened? Because creation says true. It's only true in case when you have operation insert. So if you're going to have update and delete, it will tell you false here because it's not doing anything in that case. And success is true. This is what you want. So QuickBooks generate internal ID number. This is your number. And in case, if I forgot to map certain fields, if I miss some mandatory fields or fields in a different formats, all the error will be here. And it's very, very self-explanatory. It's very good English error. So you will understand what's happening and you have ability to fix it. So ID 349, and this is my record. So let's see, I have my QuickBooks open, and yeah, I used to have it open. Let me sign in. And this is my QuickBooks account, and let's see if I have this invoice here. So I'll put invoices. Invoices. Today is not my day. Something get messed up. So, and my invoices, it should be here. So, okay, here's my invoices. So it should be in the recent one. If I search it, I should be able to see that. So, but I don't see it. Anyway, so this is my invoice here. So, and I just inserted, and let me double click it. I open this invoice and I open this. I want you guys to see that. All right, so this is my invoice, MS005. This is my due date, what I set up, and this is my items 500. So perfect. My invoice get inserted. So now this whole template is ready for insertion. So now you can come back and create template for not currently selected row. You can set up it for all rows or new rows. So this template already. So now let's assume I want to change something in my line items. So I know my ID, this is my key. I need to have ID, and I'm going to create another template, which is called update template. And what I'm going to do, I will just update description of these items, and I will put test for my line items. So I'll click here, I put test here, I will put test here, so you will see the difference, okay? And what I'm going to do, again, it will be my selected rows, and I'm going to create new templates. So for you, I would suggest to open new tab, and if you need to update certain records, you just create it a new tab because your template will be new. So I'll go to G-Accon for QuickBooks. I choose upload accounting data to my account, and then I will keep current selected rows because this is what I want. I'm testing now. I will choose update as operations, and I can click refresh, or as you saw, it's automatically start mapping behind the scene. And how do I know this? You can see invoice ID automatically mapped to invoice ID field in the QuickBooks. So this is my column in spreadsheets, and this is my QuickBooks. So my ID maps, and I think everything else still the same. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this result. I want you to see that from beginning. I will delete this, keep it empty, and I can highlight any place I want and execute and save template. So what is going to do for me, it should update our line items. So what you can see now, it's the same my ID, right? It's the same what we just created, false for creation, and it's really true. Sorry, it's a true, nothing get inserted, and it's successfully updated. And this is my timestamp, 12:32. So now I'm going to my, let's see if it's coming here. No, it didn't come here. So I'll go again, invoices, and I can, let me see if I do it by date. Oops. Okay, this is my, no, this is not this one. All right, take some time to remove this features. All right, this is my updated invoice. So I click on edit invoice, and what I'm going to see updated description. So this is what we have. This is what we want. Okay. So what next I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to delete invoices. So what we're going to have for deletion, you need just ID, right? You need ID, your payment ID, your estimate ID, only ID, and interface is good enough. It's understand for this ID, you must to delete these objects from the QuickBooks account. So, and from my perspective, I need to create my third template. So I'm going to go to upload accounting data to my organization again. And then as easy as I will pick up next operations. So it's my delete operations. It's again, mapping will be refreshed. Result column will stay at the same level. I will go to mapping and verify, and you can see it's only ID is needed. I'm perfectly okay. And I execute it. So this is very, very easy creation of template, but you can see nothing was created and true for deletion. If I go to QuickBooks and try to refresh my QuickBooks, so let's see how it goes. And my invoice gone. So that's it, deletion finish. So this is pretty much concept of how to create your upload processes. So you can do easily insertion, you can do updation and deletion. And I want to say per call, let's say you have 1,000 records, the limitation will be 1,000 records per call. So if you do have 10,000, so you have to create your logic, maybe inside your spreadsheet, how to call this template multiple times, right? Unless until like you satisfy whatever you're doing. So this is our second part. Now I'm moving to one of the nice features which we generated, a couple nice features. So one of them, we just released report. If you remember, the previously when we launched the rebuild application in February, we have set of reports and set of accounting data. All right. Okay, I don't need this. I don't need that. Let's try again. So accounting reports. I needed work. And the report, let's say when you have transaction list reports, we have ability to display all accounts, all transactions. But if you had the split within your transactions, we display the word splits, right? And we receive a lot of questions or requests, I would say, how to get rid of the split and really show your splits within your accounts. And what we did a couple of weeks ago, so we create another report which called detailed transaction reports, and the same fields, filters which you have in transaction list reports, but what it does for you, it show you splits. So I will execute this report and I will show you, you won't be able to see the split words anymore, but you will see multiple accounts if this is what your split is about. So this is all your accounts. This is accounts. So it's very nice feature here. And another feature I want to show you, I will come back to, let's see, another report. I want to show you in some of the report, actually maybe in this report, let me choose again this report and I will show you different settings. I will start this A19. And what I'm going to show you, we have a nice feature which called create deep links to QuickBooks, which now I was going to show you, but I forgot to check it and change pool settings, so I don't have it. So now what will happen, it will create deep link or URL link to your QuickBooks account. So sometimes you want to go back and forth between a spreadsheet and your QuickBooks account and to see that. So what it does, this deep link will give you URL and you will click and it will go to this specific, in this case, estimate. So, and it will show you estimate how it is. This is your estimate. So if I click to, let's say, invoice, so you can see invoice. So it's very useful. Sometimes you want to validate something and you don't have to search it. It's right away available for you. So it's very nice, useful feature. And what else I want to show you? I want to show you, like in my case, I forgot to put this deep link right away and I have to go and retest it. But what will be useful for you, if you go to tools and you click user preferences, all your change pool settings will be here. This is for your data settings when you pull your accounting raw financial data, and this is your create deep link default value. So basically, if you create and save your default value over here, so you don't have to change it in change pool settings. So I save it. So next time when I come here, it will be for me checked. So you will not forget it. So I will just show you. Oh, I exceed maximum stack. It's very nice. Okay, dismiss. So I still want to show you. So when I choose, let's say, transaction list, for example, doesn't matter. So the settings will be checked, right? So you don't have to go back and by default uncheck it or check it. All right, so I think I'm done. This my advanced query topic. I cover update, modify. I cover upload process and some of nice recent feature of us. So I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. So, and I want to tell you this session is recorded. So I'm going to send, I have a lot of people who signed, but definitely different time zone and nobody have time to physically be in this webinar, and it's recorded and I'm going to send you as soon as I have it available from Zoom. So, but if you don't have any questions, I would like to thank all of you to joining us. I want to show you our website, which has some useful material. We have some documentations on the document side for QuickBooks, just for you to see if you miss something, if you want to get more detailed explanation or go through one more time. And we have a very kind of customer wants topics. We usually write some blogs and we put all topics or explanation or tips or tricks or everything here under blogs. So you can go through and take a look. So another maybe last item which I want to tell you, we do have roadmaps. So we do have roadmaps for, we use Trello for this, for new requests. So let's say you go through QuickBooks, we keep updating QuickBooks, we put a lot of enhancement, like every 2-3 weeks, because we have a lot of stuff to do in these tools. But if you desperately need or see something which is not available for you now, so feel free. So feel free to just go to roadmap, and this is Trello tool. We check in this very often, and we will see your request. We will see your request, and if you ask, so it doesn't mean it's only for you, it's like somebody else need it as well. So we will be happy to look at this, and we will be happy to get any feedback that you might have about this tool, because we're still keeping this, and we're developing, we put a lot of enhancement. We would like to hear from you guys. All right, so let me pause for a while and check if anyone has. I have one question. In Xero, why do credit balance shows in the report as debit balance? I don't know, Ray. I'll take this question and ask my team why it's this way. Thank you for question. And Zach, thank you so much for you. So Ray, I'll be in touch this year. I think I already responded to you this morning, and my tech team put some questions. Yeah, we will dig and figure it out why Xero do that. All right, if you guys don't have any more questions, thank you so much for joining me for this webinar, and I will send you a recorded version, and you guys know how to reach us, support@Econ Services. Thank you, and you have a wonderful afternoon or evening. Bye.